Is now the time to panic because the markets are going down, even though the Fed has cut rate and China and Trump and US and Xi have done this deal? Is now the time to panic? Even the market can't pump even after such good news. Well, you wouldn't panic if you saw what Pablo has been posting all this time. As I've been saying, look, guys, we're just basically going to be swinging wildly up and down. I call it a pinball machine. We're going to go boom, 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 right? And this was according to the March 2021 price fractal, right? So basically, yes, we could have gone a little bit higher. This was to what, 118K according to this fractal, right? We got almost up to what? This is 116K. We could have went 2K higher, right? And then come down, right? And this is indicating this could go down to 100K, right? So like, it's not as if this is the first day I've posted this, right? And people are like, oh yeah, but you said it's going to pump after the Fed meeting. Yes, eventually it's going to pump. I've always been saying the date is late November. See this date? Late November or early December, right? We need to have this flush out period first and then up we go. Okay, how about if I show you guys another chart? This is even more optimistic. This is a much more optimistic chart that shows Bitcoin going to like 165K, which is the kind of near the top of my range of predictions, 165K, right? And this is based on what? August 2024. So last year, August the 5th, last year when the US dollar Japanese yen crashed. So we can have a look at this, right? Like it still indicates we would pump up and come down, and we could get as high as 120 according to this fractal. But even if we got there, we will still need to come down to what this area is, 105.8, 105.9, 100. So far we haven't even gotten there yet, right? To some sort of, and this is a much more positive scenario. This is a more optimistic scenario. August 2024 last year, than the crash to 30K Bitcoin had in March. Oh, this is May 2021. So in this scenario, we go much higher, but we pull back first to as low as 100K. In this scenario, right, we go to 165K, much higher, but Bitcoin can go as high as 120K, but it still pulls back to 105, right? And I've chosen those two scenarios because, and I made videos for you guys, because this is what happened, after the major crashes, the liquidity flashes, the last 2 or 3 times. I can't use the March 2021 crash because the 2020 crash, because that was COVID crash. And that's when the Fed came out and said, oh, we're going to do unlimited money printing. So then we had a V-shaped recovery. I can't show you guys that scenario because that obviously doesn't apply here. So basically, right, it's none of the charts I've shown you guys so far show a straight up move. So a pullback here seems quite normal, right? To 105K, been warning about this for a long time. A pullback here to even lower, like 100K, seems quite normal. Depends on which scenario you think we're in. So none of this is out of the ordinary. But why did we pull back, for example? Because it's not just crypto, it's also stocks. Like, look at this. This is SP 500. SPY's pullback, 0.5%. NASDAQ down 0.5%, 1%. QQQ, NASDAQ 100, down almost 1%. And look at this. It's basically, but everything's still at new all-time highs. Like, right? They've all recovered to new all-time highs. They've made the high yesterday and then pulled back today. And so there are 2 reasons why I think we've pulled back, right? Even though they're performing much better than Bitcoin and crypto, they're pulling back, yeah, but like 1% from new all-time highs. Bitcoin and especially ETH are down a lot more than that. What are the 2 reasons why the stock market is also pulling back and therefore Bitcoin is pulling back as well? Before we answer those questions, first let's answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo He-Man use? Well, Pablo uses this exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't need to show any ID, right? That means basically the exchange can't even see who you are. So therefore, the IRS can't see you, the tax office can't see you, the FBI, CIA, nobody can see you, right? So that's why Pablo made this exclusive deal with them. Exclusive link just on the Pablo Human link went up to $6,000 plus 2 ETH, whatever ETH might be worth at the end of this competition period. Get 20% bonus just by trading a little and depositing, right? Deposit $100, get $20 bonus just by trading 4K. Deposit $500 and get $100 bonus just by depositing trading over 20K, right? And here's $1,200 US. You get the idea, folks. All right, limited time only. This deal finishes on 4th of November, midnight. Okay, so if you're watching this on YouTube right now, then the link is in the description below. The link is in the description below. But if you're watching on any other platform, such as this one, that's okay. Just click on my profile page and then click on my Stan link or link tree. And there it is, folks. The Bitunix deal, because I put it first because it's a great deal. Okay, let's get back to the markets, folks. But remember, this deal is only on the Pablo Human link. Only on the Pablo Human link. So, now that we've seen these kind of chops are to be expected, I've kept on saying, no matter what happens, we're going to get, to end of November or first week of December before we make the final bottom and up we go. So what are the two reasons? What are the reasons why the market, even stocks, are pulling back today? Well, first of all, the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell yesterday said that the rate cut for December is not guaranteed. He says, well, how can, I understand that's bad news, but the market is still pricing a 70% chance they're going to cut rates. And the reason why he said that is partly because the US government is in shutdown mode, so therefore the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, is shut down right now. The BLS cannot release any jobs figures, any consumer PCE inflation figures. So the Fed is essentially flying blind. In his own words, Jerome Powell said, it's like driving in a fog. So you slow down. You don't say that, oh yeah, we're going to cut rates. We're going to cut rates for sure, right? That's why they're basically in driving in the fog, and they're going to slow down. They say, we're not sure what we're going to do next month. I can understand why the market pulled back, but it's a very, very short-term threat or danger. I don't think that matters 4 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. So for example, the market is still rating 72% chance. That's almost 3 in 4 chance we're going to cut rate by December, right? December the 10th. And here it is, just 1 in 4 chance we're going to keep rates on hold. Yes, admittedly, yesterday it was only 10% chance we're going to keep rates on hold, and 90% chance we're going to cut, and we've gone from then to 3/4 chance we're going to cut. So that's because of what Jerome Powell said. And I can understand why he said that, because they don't have the data, because the US government is shut down, right? The BLS is not releasing the data. And now I can understand why he said that. But look, let's have a look at, say, we go out to March next year. March next year, where are we? Current rate is 375 to 400. It's only 11% rate. We keep March rates on hold till then. 40% chance we have 1 rate cut. 36% chance we have 2 rate cuts, and 8% chance that we have 3 rate cuts. 3 rate cuts by March. So the thing is this. What most people don't understand is that yesterday we actually had really good news from the Fed. They decided, as Pablo kind of called it, I thought in the most optimistic scenario we would have rate end of QT on the day. But they gave us the next best thing. They said they already decided they're going to end QT. They already decided they're going to end the quantitative tightening, right? Yesterday, they said that. But they're going to do it actually on 1st of December, which is only 30 days from now, right? If they said they were going to do it yesterday, then it would cause mass panic in the markets, because people would be like, that's way too quick. That's you didn't give us any warning. So now they also said the other good news, have you noticed, is that they said they're going to do QE, quantitative easing, or printer is coming back. Yeah, because this is the chart that explains it all. It explains it all, okay? So what is this red and green? Red and green chart right here. It's basically others divided by Bitcoin. We can all see that, right? Others divided by Bitcoin. What it means is basically others is all the altcoins except the top 10. So all the altcoins except like BNB, Solana, XRP, Cardano, the top 10 coins. Basically, then it's basically represents all the mid caps and the smaller altcoins, right? Up to 150 altcoins. And then what is this blue line? Why do they feel like they're kind of in close correlation? The blue line is WOCAL. WOCAL is basically the Federal Reserve balance sheet. In other words, when the Fed starts QE or buying bonds from the market, right, that balance sheet goes up. See here was the bottom. September 2nd, 2019, printing money. And then when they go into QT mode in April 2022, they basically start selling. They start selling their government treasury bonds or MBS bonds. And so therefore they take the amount of bonds they hold goes down, right? That means they are basically selling bonds to take money back from the market. So the money goes out of circulation and back into the Fed. It's like destroying the liquidity they created. And right, we're having less liquidity. So what do we see here? This is mid to small, let's call it mid cap altcoins divided by Bitcoin, right? Mid caps are outperforming Bitcoin right here in Jan 2018 to April 2018, big bull market. And then altcoins, mid cap altcoins underperform Bitcoin up to August 2019, right? And then we have a massive bull run, which is altcoins outperforming Bitcoin. We've gone from 0.06 to 0.19. So that's a 3x run. 3x run, and then COVID crash happens, and then we run all the way up to 0.49. That's an 8x. That's an 8x run from 0.06 to 0.49, even with a crash of COVID in between. And then when the Fed starts QT, quantitative tightening, which they're ending, which as Pablo predicted, they're ending pretty soon, like 30 days from now, December the 1st. And when they end that, basically, right, then this blue chart heads up again, which the Fed pretty much promised. And we can see when this thing is going down, basically altcoins, mid-cap altcoins start going down against Bitcoin, start going down. And here was the big crash we had 2 weeks ago, and now we're bouncing up again. By the way, the crash we had 2 weeks ago, for mid-cap altcoins, it's kind of reached bottom, like bottom here, bottom here. Like this is a significant level. This 0.08. We've had top get rejected here. We've had the bottom here, bottom week through here, bottom here, and bottom here. So there's a good chance that altcoins have bottomed against mid-cap altcoins have bottomed against Bitcoin, and we're about to bounce from here. And especially if this blue line, right, when it goes up, altcoins go up. When it goes down, altcoins go down, and then it's about to turn up here, right? So basically, altcoins could really turn up here. And that's basically, it's something pretty obvious, but I've shown you guys visually what it looks like, which is basically that when Fed is doing QE, quantitative easing, printing money, then others, where cap altcoins go up against Bitcoin, they outperform Bitcoin. And when Fed is doing QT, when they're taking money out of circulation, then basically others where mid cap altcoins underperform against Bitcoin, right? That's something we've known all along. It's not a surprise. But guess what? They've just said they're going to stop selling treasuries, which means this line is going to go flat starting on December the 1st. And not only that, which means end of QT. Not only that, they're going to start QE, which is printing of money, right? And it's not going to be the same as this kind of printing of money, right? Which was like $4 trillion in 1 year. So let's start here. We had 3.77 trillion. To 8.95 trillion. So that's $5 trillion. That's $5 trillion in what? March 22 to September 2019. So that is basically 18 months. In 18 months, we printed $5 trillion. I mean, the US GDP is only like 26 trillion dollars. So that's 20% of US GDP been printed in only 1.5 years. What the Federal Reserve, what Chairman Jerome Powell said yesterday is that they're going to stop QT, which means blue line stops going down and it's going to turn up again, but at a much slower rate. What he said was, we're going to try to match the GDP growth with this. GDP growth, something like for the United States, something like 2%, 3% right now. So 3% GDP growth a year would mean something like, what's 3% of 27 trillion? That would be like 800 billion. $800 billion. It's not a huge lift. It's not even 1 trillion, but at least then we're seeing this curve turn up. So what's 800 billion? So we're at 6.6 trillion right now. We turn up 800 billion. Then we go to 7.4 trillion. 7.4 trillion here a year from now. A year from now would be what? Like October, right? October 26. 7.4 trillion. Yeah, so that's what this curve will look like. It would look something, I'll just draw it out for you guys so then you can see where this is all going. We go from here, we go flat, and we go 7.4 by October, right? Oops. So anyways, let me fix that up. Okay, this chart now looks more like it because look, guys, it's basically we've gotten to a year from now, which is here, which is October 2026, a year from now, and we've gotten to $7.4 trillion, right? So the chart is not going to be as steep as this, and certainly we're not in decline, but we're going to do this. So then, well, do you think that altcoins could do something like this? If altcoins did something like this, then basically we're going to head to 7.32 or 0.26 ratio. What does that mean? 0.26 ratio. Okay, I've just mapped it out here as well. So basically, as the blue line, which is the Fed QE or Fed assets balance sheet turns up, we also turn up with the altcoins, mid-cap altcoins versus Bitcoin, and we turn up here. We go from 0.11 to 0.22. That's 2x from here, right? That's 2x from here, or 3x if we go measure by the bottom, and that's still a decent bull run. That's still a decent bull run as we turn up here. Right. There are other factors affecting this as well. Especially if Bitcoin heads up like to 140, 150, 160K, as I've been expecting, then we could have even bigger bull run in this. But I'm just saying, keep positive, guys. We can still have some very bullish moves from now on. Okay, catch you next episode.